Hi everyone, I'm Talia and today I'm reviewing the new Exceed journal from Walmart. So if you're new here to my channel, this is kind of a long time in coming video. About 2 years ago, I reviewed the Exceed bullet journal from Walmart. It wasn't the same one. They've redone it since then. But my first review of this brand journal that was at Walmart, it was a $5 journal, and my review was not very good, and it was pretty controversial. I think I got the most comments on that from people. Like, people were offended I didn't like the journal. I don't know. But I mean, to be honest, I was doing it as a reviewer, as would I recommend this to a friend? And at that time, I would not have. And I watched the old video in preparation for this one. One of the big things was paper quality was an issue because the pen test did really bad and it did not feel nice to write on. It didn't have page numbers. It just seemed like it was lacking. And they had one bookmark, and it wasn't a very good bookmark at all. So it seemed like it was lacking a lot for me. And also it wasn't the traditional size. It was a little taller and a little thinner. So I mean, I guess it was maybe more like a Moleskine perhaps. I didn't have a Moleskine at the time to compare it to, so I just compared it to Leuchtturm and Scribbles That Matter, which are my two favorite brands of bullet journals. Now those run about $20, so $5 to $20. People thought that I should have given it more slack, but I had in the past done other reviews of $5 journals that I liked more, like the one from Michaels. They have a little $5 journal that I thought held up better and the paper felt nicer. So now we're going to dive into this one. And spoiler alert, I really like this notebook. So let's talk about all the things about the new Exceed journal. So this is a dotted journal and it's A5 size. So what that means is that it's the same size as a regular bullet journal. So this is the official Leuchtturm bullet journal that I have here. And they line up almost perfectly. It might even be just a tiny bit bigger, but I think that's just the cover, not actually the pages. It looks like the cover goes out a little bit farther. I don't know how to get that on camera, but here's the paper, and it seems about the same distance when I line up the paper. It just seems like the notebook comes out a little farther, whereas this one's more flush. Little difference, but yeah, they're basically exactly the same. And the other thing is it's 100 GSM heavyweight paper. So it's promising good paper in there. That's really good, 100 GSM. And it also has 2 page markers now. Now I'll show you these page markers. They are still not very good quality. The one I had, it was way worse though. It was super crinkly. It just felt like a string. These still pretty much feel like a string, but they don't seem to be as in bad a shape as the one I got. So maybe these are a little bit thicker. I wish there were better page markers, but I got a lot of flack for saying that. Like, I like nice page markers. I'm spoiled. I have the ones in Leuchtturm, and they're nice fabric ribbons, and they're very sturdy and pretty, and they look thick, they look nice, and I've used this journal, and they still look nice. This one I haven't used as long, and they look beat up, a little worse for the wear. But they're a lot better than they were. So and they work pretty good. So I actually am okay with that. That's probably the most complaint you'll hear from me on this review. I want to note that this is a completely blank white journal. It came in white, black, and navy blue, I think. And those were the only 3 colors I had at my Walmart. I took just stickers from my Happy Planner sticker book, the farmhouse one, and these are just words in there. So I pulled out this sticker that said Live Simply, and then this sticker that was a little leaf, and I put it on there, and now it's decorated. But aside from that, it was completely blank, except for the little Exceed imprint back there. And it's a hardcover, but it is very squishy, so I'm getting a lot of like From the elastic, you get the indent, and if I lay it on something that's rough, it indents as well. So it can be tricky, and of course it's white, so it does tend to get dirty. So that is a forewarning on this. The elastic works really well. It's a nice tight elastic. I've had journals in the past where you pull on the elastic and it feels like nothing's there. I'd say it's even actually a little tighter than this one, than the official bullet journal. Because see, this one goes up a lot higher. This one, if I do about the same amount of force, this one doesn't go as far. Has 120 sheets, which is about 240 pages. Yes, let's go, 240 pages. And I stuck these on there. Those are not originally part of the journal, but I wanted to have my magnets in there that I'm using as additional page markers. So yes, 240 pages, because I've done that before where I've mixed up sheets and actual pages. So it's 240 pages, which is about the same as these bullet journals. The Like term, because they have a lot of, this is 248, but they have all this stuff in there. So 240 also. So it's the same number of pages as an official bullet journal. And these numbers are nice and big. I really like big numbers. Some people might not, but I like these nice big numbers on there. And yeah, and the size is it's 5.8 by 8.3, and it's the dotted journal with the expandable inner pocket. So let's go back there again. So it does have a pocket, and the last one did too. Now let's talk about the paper. Now the only thing about this paper that I could see maybe being a turnoff is very cream. It's in a white bullet journal, but you can just tell the difference when you open up. This is very creamy. And I would say, yes, it's definitely darker than the Leuchtturm, which is pretty creamy, unlike a Scribbles That Matter, which is a lot whiter. So 3 shades, this is the darkest. This is probably closer to like the color of a Rhodia, and even darker than like a Dingbats. So this is a Dingbats journal, and so it's even darker than that. So if you're not into cream paper, I totally get you. I'm usually not a fan of cream paper. I like it to be whiter, but I don't know, because the book is so white, it kind of works for me. Actually, what's really sold me on this paper, I'll tell you, is the GSM. I can feel it on this paper. This is the smoothest, creamiest paper that I've ever written on. It feels nice to write on this paper. So I'm already in it, as you can probably tell from my washi tape on the sides. I've already jumped into my bullet journaling in here. Okay, so we know that this paper feels great, but let's go ahead and see how it works. Before I do that though, I'm going to do a little pen count so I can compare it dot-wise to this, because it does have a pretty thick border on the side, which I love because I love using washi tape in my planner. So it's nice to have it where I can put it at the top and have a little more room where I'm not eating up a bunch of my dots. But I'm going to go ahead and count those for you. Okay, so the dot count reveals that they are exactly the same. There are 27 dots across, which makes 26 squares. So you can write the whole alphabet in there. And then there are 39 dots down. Now, the border at the bottom seems about the same. The border on the sides is a tiny bit thicker, and the border at the top seems a lot thicker. So I don't know if I guess the page is slightly bigger at the top, but either way, they're 5mm, you know, traditional grid, and the dots are a little darker than in the Leuchtturm, which I actually like a dark dot. Some people don't. They like it to be transparent, and I understand that too. It's gonna go head to head with, if anyone else has a Leuchtturm, you are good to go. And I think Scribbles That Matter is very similar also in dot count. So you're going to be able to match up with your favorite YouTuber if you want to recreate any spreads. And that's a big plus for me. When I was starting out, you know, I was just kind of copying what other people did until I found my own style, and I still copy some of my favorites because I just think it's the best way to do it. So I just do it. Why reinvent the wheel? I do it all the time. But yeah, so the dot count is perfect. So now we're going to do the most fun part, which is the pen test. So let me kind of run through who is getting used here. It's pretty much the same lineup as I did last time. This is who I always use. I use the Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Pen. This is a really good pen, and it doesn't usually bleed through at all. If I wanted to put my money in pens instead of in journals, I might do that. I'm using the Sharpie pen, which is my personal favorite. It's a little bit cheaper, but it is about the same in quality. And then we have the Precise V7 rolling ball, which is great. And my new one, I didn't have this at the time, but I love my Papermate Inkjoy gel pens. They're super nice to write with. I use them for writing, like because I write books, and if I'm writing longhand, this is like my favorite pen to write with. So I like to see how it does in the bullet journal, because hey, if you can get away with it, I say do it. I have a Staedtler Tri-Plus Fine Liner. These are just a popular bullet journal pen, so I like to use those. I'm going to use a Bic highlighter, and I'll go ahead and throw in, a Zebra Mild Liner. I bought these, and I'm not that big of a fan of the mild liners, but they were like so popular in the bullet journaling community, I had to give it a try. So I'll show you how those work. Crayola Super Tip, and my Sharpie Fine Point permanent marker. This is kind of my extreme to show that, you know, it's not impervious paper, that it does bleed through everything. And then finally we have a Tombow, and I just got a black one, and we'll just see how that goes. So starting off with the Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Pen. And if you haven't seen my pen test videos before, I do 2 boxes. The first one I shade in once. I'm just coloring it in. The second one I color it in diagonal, just like I did the first one. Then I go up and down. Then I go side to side. So this is my triple layer box to show if you went over something a couple times, like you were coloring or doing some shading on some art, would it still work? I just realized who was missing. Papermate Flare. I felt like one of them was missing. That's the one I needed, my Papermate Flare. So let me put that on. Okay, first impressions is it didn't even seem like it feathered that much. A lot of the highlighters, like the Bic, I think that one started to scratch the paper a little bit because it's so wet. And maybe a little bit there, but like these did not scratch up the paper. And I've had it before where even a marker, once you do 3 layers, it'll start to pull up the paper, and this one did not. So I'm excited to see what it looks like on the next page. Here we go. Wow. Oh, I knew it was going to be good. I didn't know it was going to be that good. Look how little that triple layer of Sharpie marker went over here. On the last Exceed, I had stuff all the way down, but the only one that went through was the Sharpie marker. That's the only thing that I can see here that bled through. Most of these don't even ghost. Like, you can kind of see them because they're bright, but you're not even... And the Tombow down here is black. This is black Tombow, and this is 3 layers of black Tombow, and I can barely see it. These ones I can't see at all. The big highlighter I can a little bit because it's bright orange, but that's not even ghosting really. It's depending on the light. If I do it from a different angle, I can't even tell it's there. Wow, and there's no scratching either because I use the Pilot a lot because I actually really like this pen, but it does have a tendency to scratch the paper, especially I'm a little heavy-handed, so if it scratches, some of the times the ink will bleed through, but that did not happen, and neither did my Papermate Flare, or not my Papermate Flare, my Papermate Inkjoy. Sorry, Papermate, I just love you so much, I forget which one you are. Papermate Inkjoy isn't scratching through or bleeding either. That is really cool. I mean, on the triple layer, you can get a little more ghosting, but nothing really with the mild liners and the Crayola Super Tips. And the Tombow is black, and even then the ghosting is light until the 3rd one. So unless you're doing 3 layers really hard, you're not even getting ghosting. This is great paper because I've been using it for, you know, a month now, and I just really like it. So wow, and like the purple and the pink, you didn't even see at all. Look, you can't see those. You can see maybe a little over there, but wow. So good, this pen test. This is amazing paper. I really like it. What do I think of the new Exceed notebook? It was $8.64, I believe, but that is a steal of a deal. That's half of what the Scribbles That Matter and the Leuchtturm are. And this, unlike the last one, is quality. This is a great notebook. I would totally recommend this to anyone starting out. They'd be like, oh, I don't know if I want to spend $20 on a Scribbles or on a Leuchtturm. I'd say, hey, go buy one of these. And so that's what I'm telling you guys. If you want a good notebook for $9, I mean, the only complaint I have about this is that they didn't really fix the bookmarks. They gave me 2 though. So they aren't the greatest, but they do the job. I think all in all, I mean, this is improvement. And the paper quality in here it's incredible. It's so nice to write on. I'd totally recommend getting one. So here it is. It's the Exceed A5 journal. I wish there was more color variety because I would just start buying these. I'd buy a ton of these. I'm happy to say that I can confidently recommend the new Exceed A5 journal at Walmart. I hope this video was helpful to you all. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you all soon. Goodbye.